Alright, everybody. Okay, lovely, thank you. Right, thank you very much. Right. For our last play of the evening by Carl Whitaker, it's called Darwin Digs Down, and again this has been inspired as well by the movement of movement and action of worms. So the truth is out there, is it in that hole or over there?
Mr. Darwin's house. There is a knock at the door. Mr. Darwin answers. He is chewing and wearing his napkin tucked in his collar.
I have the digger for you, sir.
What digger?
Digger ordered for this address by Miss Darwin. Your daughter, sir?
No, I have no daughter at this address. They are well matched, no.
Oh, you're a lucky man there, sir. Yes, Caw, yes indeed. Lived in Shrewsbury long, sir?
Not long enough yet, in geological terms.
Well, sir, I aim to move up to London, sir, before the worms get me, I hope.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Darwin looks the man up and down as if measuring him for a plot.
Now look, I don't want a digger here. It's not convenient, and I didn't order it. It's almost time for pudding.
Well, it's all paid for, sir, so it's all down here, yes, sir.
I can't understand it.
And Miss Darwin appears.
I can. I ordered it.
You ordered it? And who are you, and what business do you have taking such a liberty? I've not ordered any work here.
You started the work, Mr. Darwin.
I have started no dig here.
Yes, you did, Mr. Darwin. You started one of the biggest digs of all, and its pace is accelerating all the time.
What dig? What are you talking about? I may have been at sea a while, but I'm sure I ordered no dig.
You got a permit to dig here, Mr. Darwin? You need a permit.
Hemingway holds out his clipboard and tick sheet.
A what? Why would I need a permit to dig in my own garden?
So, you do want to dig then?
No, that's not what I meant. You twist.
Miss Darwin climbs into the digger and starts it up.
Look, where are you going with that mechanical monstrosity?
Rules, Mr. Darwin. You must have had them when you were at sea.
Round to the worms! Round to the worms!
What's that got to do with my garden?
Well, when you start digging, you never know where it could end, do you, sir?
Don't be insolent, man. You girl, get out of that machine this instant. You get that excavating thing out of my garden and back to your yard.
It's booked out for a period of time, and then, well, it will be gone. Once its job is done, sir, just like me, sir, just like us all.
Miss Darwin is digging a hole big enough for 4 people to stand in.
I don't want a great big hole in my garden. It's a potential death trap. You are spreading material and creatures all over the place where they shouldn't be.
Ah, sir, now that was what I was talking about. All them things falling off the ship, crawling ashore, vertebrates like as not, and you're in trouble. Vertebrates and forms, sir. That's what proliferating nowadays. We'll be filling forms in till the next coming, eh, sir? Assuming you are a believer, sir.
I was, God is in all nature's works.
But searching for answers always opens a can of worms. Isn't that right, Mr. Darwin?
I'm merely trying to add to the perpetual amount of reasoned knowledge that mankind must build in order that it may perpetuate its success.
The bigger the mound seems to get, Mr. Darwin, the more holes we seem to be finding.
Those are the holes made by the toiling earthworm. The large holes will be remains of those of the mole. A singularly troublesome species I have managed to eradicate from my little Eden.
So that's all Eden is to man then, Mr. Darwin? A place of perfect lawns? I would not look for my soul in a green desert.
She returns to her digging.
Will you please stop that digging?
A sound comes from the pit.
Ooh, ow! Ooh, ow! That hurt!
The Lambton Worm has been hit on the posterior by the digger's bucket spade. Miss Darwin stops the digger. They all look in astonishment at the Lambton Worm. He recovers, looks at his bruised tail, and then looks at them and tries to flee down his burrow. Darwin jumps in after the new specimen and grabs his tail.
Get off me tail! Get off! Get off! Oh, it's bruised! Crikey! Your hands are warm! You should be a doctor!
Darwin pulls hard and the worm ends up sat on the bottom of the pit.
Art thou a worm?
Do I look like an elk? The name's Worm! Lambton Worm! Does this bloke insist on knowing everything's name? He's not going to name me Darwin's Worm, is he?
Probably. Like most successful scientists, it may have been a woman that did the spade work, but he'll stick his name on it faster than a borough council parking attendant.
Why? I'm a naturalist. I investigate nature.
We're digging this hole in the name of scientific discovery.
Well, that's nice for you. Now you know where I am and I know where you are. Try digging somewhere else. Now bugger off.
We can't. It's important to see what occurs when an experiment is begun. Mr. Darwin formulated this big idea and we're digging after it for more.
May I also point out that I did not start this digging?
Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Well, you did in a way, sir.
Didn't.
I'd be careful, sir. He'll turn, you know. Watch out for his false teeth.
Cheeky monkey. Now everyone knows it's a Waterloo set. And you're going to need your own set, Beardy. Put them up.
2 itinerant sports announcers appear, and their microphones drop from the sky.
Hi, I'm Bob Cranker.
And I'm Bob Waller.
And we're at the pit side.
And downtown Shrewsbury.
See the clash of 2 mighty opponents in the confrontation of the age. Hey, Bob?
With this form these two have, this could be over in the first round.
Or it could drag on for a considerable length of time until both parties are exhausted.
So, no further ado, in the damp corner, left in the shade for too long, and, what is that by his side, Bob? Is it a collection of more, Bob?
It is, Bob. He always brings it down with him on fight nights. Says it reminds him of hope.
It's the legless legend himself, Lambton Worm!
And in the opposite corner, the bearded bomber, the mythbuster himself, the daring seafaring old experimenter, the battling beagle, Mr. Charles Darwin!
They both look like they're in good form for today's confrontation, Bob. A match made in heaven.
Oh, not depending on what side you're on, Bob.
There's only one side for a god in this fight, and it's not with the evolutionist, that's for sure.
That's right, Bob, and we have a couple of guests here to help us try and interpret the form this battle will take.
Would you welcome all the way from a place where they ban digging on the beach? With us the Miss Darwin!
And a man who likes digging holes so much for himself, he now helps others. Mr. Ernest Diggerman Heffingway!
So, Miss Darwin, you brought the contender away from his tea for this bout. Do you have any apologies for that?
Absolutely none, Bob. This has been on the cards a long time. We have to see who will come out underneath here, the worms or Darwin.
Darwin's last public appearance at the monkey trial left us all itching to see more. Is that right?
Well, it was quite spectacular, but I'll be a monkey's auntie if I can't get someone to understand that Lambton's in as much danger of becoming extinct as Darwin's endless experimental curiosity. Darwin needs to go back to the origin.
The origin of the Lambton Worm!
Bob Walter turns to the camera smugly, as if informing the viewers of something they could not know, and getting it wrong with no glimmer of realisation.
Actually, no. It was Origin of Species, but the book that is the fundamental cause of this trouble is The Formation of Vegetable Mould through the Action of Worms.
Fascinating.
Absolutely. You see, it could lead to an increase in digging.
Is that becoming such a great problem?
If you haven't got a garden, yes it is.
It has been a major problem for worms. They've taken to rotivating all over the country, and now they've had enough. They've sent a major player along to settle what they see as an unwarranted disturbance from itinerant scientists.
So it's revenge for disturbing the worms or dominance for the recreational gardener. Which will it be?
Darwin's warming up. The worm is cooling down for this battle between the species. Darwin mocks the worm, who is quite deaf to his taunts, or his ears still evolving.
No, it's just the way they stick out.
The bell goes!
Darwin is quickly out of his corner. The godlike beard flows gracefully as he moves forward, punching at the air. The heavy weight of the evolutionary movement is taking his first cautious steps against the mythological mountain of segmentation.
Looking every inch the Victorian patriarch.
Darwin's out to bury the invertebrate contender. Lambton takes it lying down. He's not ready to put a wiggle on us early in the match. He'll soak up punishment and strike just when he feels. Darwin's ideas are weakening.
Worm simply isn't going to lie down and dry up on the pavement like some pundits thought. He's back, and he's bad.
Worm's condition is evident to see. The long, thin, ripply rib segmented muscle structure is a slightly obtuse. He's simply full of vitality. He weaves like a silkworm, stings like a green fly. He dodges and makes shiny, flashing tight movements, avoiding the bigger hominoids' powerful onslaught.
Darwin is rubbing his beard in contemplation, watching for worms' soft spots, looking for the end to deliver those seismic concepts to the body politic that leave them in total disarray, while he saunters back to Shrewsbury for tiffin.
Darwin expects the side of the pit. He's nonchalant now, deliberately ignoring his opponent, drawing the worm's attention, trying not to wrong-foot him.
He doesn't have any feet, Mr. Walter.
Darwin makes a move. What is that? Something in the pit side?
It's the jawbone of an early hominid. He's taken it out, and...
Unbelievable! He's used it on the worm. Boy, that must sting. Worm looks confused. Lambton looks around for other evidence of early man in Shrewsbury.
Darwin seems to be using the force of argument, reason, and evidence in this battle, Bob.
And an old bone.
Lambton stretches himself to the fullest extent out, like an extended finger type pointing to the folly of resistance, to the majesty of his ledger.
Like a loaded spring, he compresses then springs, he jabs, he worm jabs, he jabs again. Boy, this worm has no heart, he's just a mass of muscle, pounding the dirt. Day by day, what can Darwin do to stop him? He's goading his opponent, he's aping on.
The mammal seems to be weakening. Whatever his ideas were when he fell into the hole, they're taking a hammer in here. If they got legs, they may run, but where? Back into the trees?
Lambton has swallowed all the muck he can from the vocal mammal. Worm spits out his false teeth. Darwin is surprised, drops his guard. The worm is working inside now, thrashing and pounding against Darwin's heart. He's simply not tall enough to work on his mind. Darwin leans forward to strike.
Fatal move, Bob. This could extinguish Darwin's chances. He's drawn that furry chin within worm's reach.
Lambton detects his chance, he reacts. That's it. Worm works his way into Darwin's beard. Oh my, he's worming against his facial finery. What's that?
He's excavating.
Lambton is excavating Darwin's beard.
It's a full beard. I mean, now it is full, man.
Darwin's beard is absolutely full of mould. It's all over the place. Oh, are they cornflakes, Bob?
Certainly looks like that, Bob.
Darwin slips on the vegetable carpet he's made for himself. Where is the referee? He'll bury Darwin. He's going, I can't watch. I can't look away. I can't find the words to describe. Worm is all over him. Yuck. How can we watch at these prices? It's a massacre! Oh, the humanity!
I win! The myth overcomes the man.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, yes, I did.
Didn't.
Do you fancy another go?
Later, maybe, after tiffin.
Can you forgive me disturbing you, Lambton? It was Mr. Darwin I wanted to talk to, really.
You have my attention.
And his wife, she's at the kitchen window, and she's spitting.
She's not the only one. I seem to keep falling victim to some bloody crusader and his dog.
Was it a beagle?
I didn't ask, and he couldn't have answered me with a tail in his mouth. Daft mutt. Fancy trying to take a lump out of myth and expecting a positive result. I can't help being poisonous when bitten.
I didn't set out to disturb anyone.
And I was just interested in nature. It is quite beautiful, you know.
And I'm not, I suppose, because I'm a myth. So I can be discarded, be forgotten, become extinct.
Oh, you are anything but a mere poem, my dear worm. If anything, you are a mistake.
General groaning and sniggering.
You won't be forgotten, Lambton. You're on a new evolutionary path now.
You know very well I don't like pavements.
Anyway, this is all very well, but what about this hole in my lawn? I can't put up with it. My wife will be furious. What shall we fill it with?
More ideas.
Crusaders.
Paperwork.
Darwin looks at the hole, inspecting it. Then he points.
What's that there?
What is it?
A radiator cap.
That'll be off a Roman chariot then.
Don't be silly.
An expert can tell you, you know. You can construct an entire dinosaur from a kneecap, you know.
This isn't off a chariot, though.
Is it off a dinosaur?
No, it's off a Volvo.
You can tell all that from one piece?
You can, yes, with practice, but it does say Volvo on the cap. No, don't look now, but there's one old dinosaur looking at us right now from the kitchen window, and if she wants her lawn back, I think it's time to start putting the soil back and getting it levelled.
How about one more last dig, just to see what else there might be?
Go on then, just one more. Miss Darwin?
Okay, just say when.
Miss Darwin reactivates the digger and starts to dig deeper. Suddenly there is a loud explosion and they are all blown up into the nearby apple tree, from which an apple falls, ominously.
Me digger! Oh, me best digger! What happened?
Ha! He got extinctified by the gas main you hit. No more holes for us to worry about. Just one big one right through everything.
And Mrs. Darwin now has a primordial lake.
I'm sorry, Lambton. I've done it again. I only thought I was trying to help, to search and understand. Help! Help! Mrs. Darwin, can you bring a ladder?
The unseen Mrs. Darwin delivers a raspberry from off stage.
That was rude. Blimey. No wonder you prefer the birds on Galapagos, Mr. Darwin.
A ladder! It's all right for you, isn't it? What about me? I'm not about to evolve into a bloody centipede anytime soon, am I? I can't use ladders. Tunnel vision, that's the problem with you lot. End up hoist by your own petard. I rest my case.
All you guys, and we can be sitting out here very modestly. Come on in.
Thank you.
I think we should definitely take that to schools. Well done to all. Right. Well, all that's happened is please fill your evaluation forms in before you leave. And thank you so much for coming. And also thank you for Helen, who always is very kind to allow us to use this wonderful space. Where is she? I can't see her. There she is. Especially thank you to all the actors tonight who've done a brilliant job. Excellent. Who keeps us writing. That's brilliant as well. Thank you very much.
And also to our MC, who for the last 3 sessions has done a sterling job at the door and doing the announcements. Here we go.
I know a few of you have been for a few times now. We were just wondering about the time. Would you prefer if it was a bit later than 6:30, say about 7 o'clock? Would that be better for people? Or is 6:30 all right? What do you feel? I think 6:30 is good. Yeah, no problem with that. Okay, that's fine then. And also, I did mention we're already starting to write plays ready for the autumn season, and we're actually on Facebook. So if you've got Facebook, if you can keep following, we've got an open group, I think, haven't we, as Springboard Writers. If you keep following that, I will give you the dates for the next session. So we'd love to see you all in the autumn. And thank you very much again for coming and supporting us. Thank you.
Well done with that.